no good. Rebounded by Anthony. 2 seconds left. Anthony for the win. Kobe rolls it. Cole Anthony gives the Magic a victory.
Close-up Magic.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Close-Up Magic. I'm your host, Stephen Cameron, and today we are going to have what I think is a really fun episode. As always, we got my right-hand man, 50 grand in the hand, Malik Grady. What's going on? How are you, sir?
Live and in color. Right here,
yes,
man.
Sir. I love it. And this week we have Patrik Shehu, who has been on the show multiple times. And most recently, a few weeks ago, we released an article of his where he gave out the season predictions. Patrik, we'll get to how those predictions look in a little bit. But before that, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Not too bad. Appreciate y'all having me back on. It's always fun to get on here with you guys and talk Magic basketball, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. I know before we get into it, we are recording this on Monday, about an hour after the Magic lost to the Knicks in a little bit of a frustrating fashion. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to talk all about the season start, things we've liked, things we haven't liked, all sorts of things. Before we get into that, though, we're going to get into the housekeeping aspects of the podcast. First and foremost, merch is here, has been. Buy your merch. Check it out if you want to get some Close-Up Magic swag. Helps us out a little bit, but mostly helps you look better. The network is supported by this podcast supporting by the Network 19 Media Group. They help us do things like get merch and sometimes help us get good guests on. We got a good guest coming in a week or so that I think you all will really enjoy. We couldn't do it without their help. Always do the following: like, subscribe, leave a review if you want. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. The more of you that do that, the easier we are to find, the sooner we can monetize. The sooner we monetize, the more cool shit we can do for you, which is super awesome. If you're listening to this on audio platforms, go ahead and give this a 5-star review. Appreciate that. And last and foremost, last week we announced the Patreon page. We just kicked it off. We got a handful of Patreons already. It's a really cool program. I'm going to break it down again real quick, but we got Patrik and Malik already in these programs. So you got 2 tiers. You got a $5 tier and a $10 tier. I don't have them broken out right in front of my face right now, but basically the $5 tier gets you access to our community Discord, which is starting to really grow and have a little bit of fun. It's a little bit more, I don't know, I'd say a little bit more personal than Twitter. There's just a little bit more community aspect to it, and it's getting started. It's growing. The more of you that join the Discord, the better it's going to be. We got some fun stuff planned in there. You get giveaway access for the first tier. And then I feel like something else I'm spacing, but we're going to do some like content just for that tier as well. Then there's a $10 tier, gets you a little bit more access when we have guests on the show. It gives you a little bit more accessibility to them by being able to present questions to them that we could ask on the show. You get the content,
supporting, all that kind of stuff.
You'll get the content sooner too. We're going to be uploading it for those $10 subscribers a little bit more. So either way, all the money that we earn from that goes back into the community, goes back into the show. We're another subscriber or 2 away from upgrading our video platform. For those of you watching on YouTube, you want to see this in better, it's gonna be better for you all. It's gonna help my post-production process speed up a little bit better. And then all the extra stuff we're planning, honestly, just to feed it into giveaways on a constant basis. We got a giveaway coming up. We'll be announcing it here probably next week. But just wanted to plug the Patreon. The link to that is in the show notes. And it's also on our Twitter page. So appreciate you really considering that. Thank you very much. Patrik, welcome back. You were on the show back in August, middle of August. We talked a little bit about the schedule leaks back then. At that point, it was like just a few games into the season that were leaked. We talked about like a little bit of like where they were at the road trip. And then just overall some expectations of the team, like some shooting guard discussions and stuff like that. So it's been a little bit since you've been on the show. The Magic are 0-4 after going 4-1 in preseason, which preseason is, don't take that too seriously.
Yeah.
So I guess let's just like kick this off, Malik. I want to send this over to you. What have you loved so far about the team, given where we're at?
I like that they stuck together. I feel like the chemistry is still out there. They're still fighting hard. I obviously like how well things are coalescing with Paolo Banchero, with Franz Wagner, even with WCJ to some extent. You're seeing the clear building blocks of what this team can be and maybe will be. We've also seen flashes from our young guards when it comes to Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs going into the season. Those were guys that we were worried about. And I think some of those worries for me, at least, have been assuaged. The problem is either one or the other one has been out due to, having the trots the first night with Cole or, Jalen Suggs turning his ankle. So you haven't seen the full complement. So what I've loved is the guys that I've seen. What I have not loved is the guys that I've not seen. There's an entire starting 5 lineup on the bench of guys that could help, two-way players, guys that can shoot, guys that have actually played in the NBA. So the kind of love and the hate is kind of intertwined. So that's really where I'm at, is that loving the high ends when it comes to Paolo and Franz, and then hating the guys that are out and how bad things get when we get into the dregs of the bench. So that's kind of the whole picture for me.
For sure. Patrik, how about you, man? Let's pass that same kind of sentiment question to you.
I guess more for me, it's been like the flashes just from the different players. I like that I saw that. I guess you could say Paolo had a bad game. I think it was the game prior to this where he shot 6 of 19, but he was still able to get to the line, still get 20 points. Something I don't think we've seen from a player since T-Mac, because you can even say that Dwight Howard was doing that. So it's been a very long time since we've had a real go-to scorer like him. So, I can't speak highly enough about him. He's been the bright spot. It's been good to see Franz. He's been a lot more active on the offensive end. I know Malik always talks about his average touches per game. Those have already been up, obviously because of, but also due to the fact he had a really good summer, and you want to see him with the ball in his hands. Maybe not as much as we have been seeing it, but he's definitely getting. I definitely like that he's getting the ball more. I won't speak too much on the bigs. I'm not happy with them, so I'll get past that. Cole Anthony's been awesome. Jalen Suggs in the game and a half that he had, I thought had some good and bad moments. Yeah, I mean, other than that third quarter, he looked rough, but again, like you mentioned, we have a lot of players out, and I think one of them being Markelle, who's going to slow the game down for every single player on that court. So he'll be a tremendous help, I think, to Jalen, even Paolo. Even though Paolo's probably ball dominant right now, I think Markelle getting people into sets will help that a lot. And I guess those are the positives from everything I've seen. A lot of good flashes. We've been in every single game against really good teams, other than Detroit, even though Detroit looked pretty good that night. We've been in every game, and super awesome, optimistic to think, but you can easily be 3-1 if healthy in this, So I try to keep my head high, even though it's 0-4, but it's been tough.
It's been tough. It's been tough. No, man, I think you guys bring up a lot of points, a lot of things I'm excited about as well. I mean, like Paolo, 4 games with 20 plus points. He just does whatever he wants on the court. He gets where he wants. He is getting to the line regularly. He already knows how to use his body to draw contact, which other players like Franz Wagner is still like learning how to do. And he's just been so fun as a rookie. Like he's a rookie. He's got ups and downs, for sure. There's moments on defense where he's not doing the right thing, but like overall his defense has been pretty better than expected. With the preseason draft aspect of him with like not being focused on that side of the ball, like that hasn't been a concern since he's been in a Magic uniform. I like it hasn't necessarily always been good, but I like seeing Franz Wagner with the ball in his hands, making decisions, learning. There's definitely been some growing pains with that. And like Patrik, like you said, Fultz coming back is going to make those growing pains a little bit less. He can be a little bit more of a secondary playmaker than the primary. And
Sucks too, honestly. I mean,
yeah, it sucks too. But I'm looking forward to that. But it has been nice to see Franz, running the pick and roll and getting the Magic into their sets, even though those sets have been kind of wonky. I have been enjoying. Fuck, man, I'm gonna say it today. I enjoyed Bol. I enjoyed Bol. The last 2 games he's been solid. I still have questions about him. I still don't know if I love him yet. I'll give him his
still
flowers
worried
on
he's
these.
gonna get hurt. Yeah,
I'm
but
still worried he's gonna get hurt. He's a lot of, like, with Jonathan Isaac, I'll say it with anyone, with the injury history, you're worried that they're not going to stay on the court a very long time. But for the last 2 games, he's been impressive. He's been the most impressive bench player we've had. And the bench is a mess right now. And I just, Cole Anthony, I want to give him some flowers too, dude. That he still a little inefficient, but he's gunning, he's playing hard. He looks rejuvenated. And I'm excited for that. So there's definitely some things. And I think the other thing that I've been excited about too is, other than this Magic loss versus the Knicks, the Magic have been pretty close to every single game, right? The Hawks, not exactly super close, but it wasn't a blowout. Even this Knicks game wasn't necessarily a blowout, though. You never really felt like tonight they were actually in it. But like the Pistons game, we were in it. The Celtics game came down to the last minute. We didn't win, we didn't close, but we were in it. And so that's been a lot of fun for me, just seeing, like, yeah, we're 0-4, but we haven't gotten our shit stomped. We didn't lose well today, but we didn't exactly get blown out, which was really nice. The one last thing before we transition is that I'll say is, offense has been fun. And offense hasn't necessarily been fun for a while, and that's still with guys' shots not falling, right? Paulo's shot from outside hasn't been falling. Mo Bamba can't hit a shot to save his life.
oh my God.
RJ or Kayla or Chumo KK and Wendell Carter Jr., they're not hitting shots either right now. So there's been some shot making, but we put up 120 versus Boston, which is one of the better defending teams in the league last year. And this year, still a really good defending team. It's like, man, that's impressive for a young squad that just was so bad. They got the #1 pick in the draft, and they're still injured. I'm excited. We haven't been a good offensive team in a very long time. We're still not good, but we're not as bad as we used to be. And that's been a lot of fun.
It's wild. I was I know we want to talk big picture. Obviously, we just saw the Knicks Magic game. I was pulling up kind of the advanced stats, so to speak, of the Knicks Magic game, seeing some of the offensive and defensive ratings, because obviously we've seen some players come out and some of their minutes have seemed really deleterious, have seemed very negative. There have been times when Mo Bamba has come out and just the score has seemed to crater and that kind of thing. And it's interesting to see that kind of borne out in the stats. And you see some of the negative defensive ratings for guys like Bamba and for RJ Hampton, the amount of points that we're hemorrhaging when some of these guys are on the floor. And these are guys that aren't traditionally all known as bad defenders, but I don't know if it's the system and then trying to play zone, or some of the criticism of the rotations, maybe these guys kind of being in and out. But some of the defensive lapses, especially for the bench lineup, it's almost even worse than the offensive stuff, where just runs are just occurring like willy-nilly and stuff. So I don't know. It's just it's a wild thing to watch. The numbers are just staggering. Only a few minutes for the lead to blossom or crater so much with certain players. It's like, have you guys noticed that? Is there a remedy for that? I mean, I don't know what to do, because it's not like there's other guys as options on the bench. It's not like, oh, well, no, in that case, we'll just bring in Robin Lopez to stop the bleeding. We can just bring in J.I. Those guys aren't available. It's either these guys or other guys are playing 45 minutes a game, and that's untenable too. So I don't know. I just, what are your thoughts on that kind of big picture? What can be done? What's the next step to get over these humps and these droughts, I guess,
Patrik, I'll let you take that, man.
I mean, as far as rim protection, that just doesn't exist on our team anymore. Mo Bamba, I don't know what's going. Like, I mean, me, you, and Rami, Steven, we try to back him. It's just not. I don't know what's going. I don't know. I mean, I will say he plays with a really, really, really bad second unit, which isn't always the funnest to do as a basketball player, playing with not as talented players. But at the end of the day, it's like you know what kind of contract you're on. You should be going. You should be moving. And
he's still at 0 blocks for the year right now. For 4 games, 0 blocks, which is unbelievable.
Concerning. He's very concerning right now, and I usually hang my hat on defending him sometimes, but I can't defend him right now. As far as like, real rim protection though, like, I'll nitpick here at Bull because he's had a very good beginning to the season. Defensively, he's just long. He's not going to hold down the best like a Mitchell Robinson or anything. Like Mitchell Robinson was destroying whoever was at the 5.
Yeah,
and that's extremely concerning. Extremely, because like Wendell's a part of the big picture. He's everyone says he's the 3rd best. Like build around him, and like he can't guard a 5. I don't care what anybody says. You can't watch those 4 games and tell me you're comfortable with him playing the 5 and protecting the rim. Just in that sense, because he can play the 5.
Yeah.
He's doing fine. Not his best games, but he's not like a negative or anything. But like it's very concerning.
You're saying Wendell, you don't like him defending the 5. Is that what you're saying, or both?
I don't mind him taking like the post up. Like he can handle a big body 5, but if they catch the ball and they're already above the rim, you might as well just put 2 points up.
Okay, I got you.
That's like my concern as far as or like help side, weak side. He's not really good at that. He's not big enough. Bull does a good job of that, but then it's like we used to do this last year with Mo and Wendell. They used to play really well off each other because Wendell will pick up the real big, and then Mo could come over and help and block those type of shots. So that's my concern moving forward. Even though Paolo looks good on defense, he's not great, and he's not going to be a rim protector for us. So
yeah,
that would be like just rim protection wise. That's what I'm worried about. Big picture. That's what we're on right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, those are good points. And I'm not any easy answers there. I don't think. Until certain guys maybe get back. Because even Moritz Wagner isn't really a rim protector. J.I. is, but who knows if or when he's ever going to come back. I do think there's some team defense things. I think that guys like Gary Harris and Markelle Fultz, because of the way they play defense and rotate, can maybe cut off some chances at the rim as they come back just as two-way players. But yeah, but they're not going to be coming over for like, weak side defense or that kind of thing. But if you can choke off a little bit of oxygen in there, I think it might be a different story. And also, now Suggs, for a guard, is a guy who does actually protect the rim pretty well, especially on the weak side. Weirdly enough, because he just flies in there and he's a chaos agent.
Right.
And we hopefully just haven't had him. So
yeah, hopefully he calms that down because that's how he gets hurt. But I think a lot of the defense may get better as hopefully coach phases out that zone that does not work. Because a lot of guys are just running around, and Wendell and Bull are ending up going to deflect, trying to block corner threes or wing threes, and that's just not.
That's the only way that they can keep Bull on the floor, I think, is in some of those zones, because one-on-one, because of his high center of gravity, I think guys can go by him. He can maybe recover a little bit, but the only way you can theoretically have him on the floor is to have him in his zone. There have been moments the zone has been okay, and he's given things back on the other end. But yeah, it's kind of one of those quandaries. It's like you'd like to limit Bull's minute just because of that, make it be more of a gimmick thing, but they really kind of need him. There were times when he was the best offensive player out there tonight because he was getting putbacks or just junk plays and throwing up, NBA street ball type things, tossing the ball off his hip and all. So it's just I don't think there are any easy answers and all, but I will allow for some criticism of Mosley because it hasn't worked,
It's been bad.
Right.
I mean, big picture thing, the biggest thing I've been disappointed in is Coach Mosley. I don't think he's done a very good job at all with like his rotations. Granted, I know he's got limited players available, but like, how can you get into a rhythm when you're playing 4 minutes in one half and 4 minutes in the other and have, 7-8 minutes total for the entire game? Like tonight, RJ Hampton had 7 minutes you're not finding a rhythm as a basketball player in there. And yeah, maybe he wasn't super productive in those 7 minutes.
I
But
mean,
at
he
the
was
same point,
143
hold
defensive
on though, Malik.
rating
Let me
those
let me
7
just
minutes. Like,
let me finish though.
abysmal. So
Let me say my thing, man. Um, he guys need time to find their rhythm. Good or bad, you need to have a chance to get into a situation. And obviously Mosley is throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. So why not throw someone at the wall and let them have a actual run, right? Some people are getting it, some people are not. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, even the way he's doing substitutions, don't make a lot of sense to me. I just feel like if we were really trying to win right now, like, things should be a lot tighter. And it seems like we're still in experimenting phase, which is okay. His experiments just suck at the moment. And then when you add the fact that we're running this zone defense, which is just fucking awful, like, our defense is garbage, guys. It's a hot mess. And if Bull is the reason we're running zone, well, maybe we try something else, because zone isn't helping a lot of other players defend well right now either. And so maybe our defense would improve. We might lose some productivity from Bull. And again, he's been nice. This isn't even against Bull. This is more like, let's try something different to elevate the rest of the team, because what we're running right now is not working. And yeah, like you said, Patrik, rim protection, like, where is it? Bomba's, I'm a big Bomba like believer, and I said it in a few group chats tonight. Like, I've been trying to defend him all season, and I just can't do it anymore. Like, yes, he's improved in boxing out, but he can't grab a rebound after he does a decent box out to save his life at the moment. And, like, the little things has done well is getting so overshadowed by everything else he's doing poorly. One, protecting the rim. He's not doing that. Wendell Carter is not protecting the rim. Bull is not protecting the rim. Our other 7 foot or 6'10" guys on the wings, they're not protecting the rim. Part of that is system. Part of that is that's not what they're good at. And I don't feel like other than like Paulo, coach has done the best job at putting players in the positions to succeed so far. Granted, things are tight. He's had some late scratches with Cole Anthony. Jalen Suggs, he doesn't have a lot of depth right now because people are injured, but I still think, given that context, he could be doing a little bit more. And I'm not a coach. I don't know what that necessarily is. I just know whatever he's doing now is not working. So that's been like my overall complaint. Malik and I have been talking about it ad nauseam for the last like few days. But
let me throw the Pat real quick. But who do
okay.
you, if you wanted to get someone, is there someone in particular that, going off of Steven's point of giving guys more extended run, is there a player or players that you think would benefit and thereby benefit the team from more of an extended run? Because I don't see anyone who I'm like, oh yeah, let's give this person more run and they're going to give us more. Like, is there anyone on your radar that you're like, oh, well, I think if we give a little bit more leash to this person, we might see those things? Maybe it's RJ. I mean, who do you see who, with maybe more of a leash, would give more to themselves and therefore to the team?
Everyone, because it's not like it's not just like,
okay, I'm
getting
saying
20
Pat,
minutes. Oh, sorry. I'll just jump in real quick and then I'll pass to Pat. It's not like just like, let's just get Mo Bamba to 20 minutes a game after only playing 14. It's like those 14 minutes are often like not coming in like great chunks. I mean, Mo Bamba tonight a little bit better. They were like 2 solid chunks of play, but like, Chuma and RJ, they just come in for like a few minutes at a time and then they're yanked. And it's like, you can't find a rhythm like that. I think RJ's like most minutes he's played in a single game is like 12. It's like, where when he was in a good rhythm in preseason, he was getting run. And I don't know. I'm gonna pass it to Patrik on this one.
Yeah, I want to hear what you think, man. Pat,
So my thing is like,
yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you about to say?
No,
I think there was a lag. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
So like, my biggest thing is like, my concern is like, what are we doing? Is the first one. Like, the point of the last 12 years was to get a guy like Paulo, right? So we get the guy like Paulo, and I get we're all banged up, but like, and I get that Victor Wembanyama's coming out. There's all these. Every year, there's going to be a player that's appetizing. I get that Victor might be a once in a lifetime, but like, we did this for 12 years to get a guy like Paulo, which it's really early, 4 games in, but we got him. But for me, it's like, if we're not good, we're just going to lose anyway. So why not try and win? If we're going 10 deep on a team with 5 injuries, 4 of the guys are rotational, and the 5th one is fringe, we shouldn't be going more than 8 to 9 deep ever. Like, there's just no way, in my opinion.
So you think it's shortening the bench, and I think they're maybe doing that a little bit as guys get wind,
Right.
but that's an interesting take. I got you.
Because, well, my concern is like, when the 4 guys come back, you're going to yank out 4 of the guys out the rotation anyways, unless you plan on going 11 deep. And if we go 11 deep, I might not make it through the season. So I just
You and me both, bro.
I can't see how these fringe, like, how do I say this? Caleb Houston is a fringe NBA player right now, like at the second, right? But 19, 20, I love that he can shoot and, league run, let him get like minutes under him and then bring him up in a year or two. That's what the G League's for. I don't
He
need
got
to see Caleb.
27. He got 27 minutes tonight. It was a -17. The only player that was worse on their plus minus is weird, right? And I know it's better
You mean
long term.
21 minutes? You mean, or
played 21 minutes? Yeah, he played 21
Gotcha.
minutes. Caleb Houston did tonight. Decent shooting. He shot 50%. He shot 2 for 4. But like, dude, you're also a negative on so many other things. Sorry, go off, Patrik. I'll stop.
Like, it's not Caleb. Like, I don't think it's any player's fault.
No.
Obviously, they aren't having good games, but like, we're struggling on defense. Kevon Harris has seemed like one of the only people that can play defense. If you're gonna take RJ out the lineup and you're gonna give minutes away, why are you giving it to the guys like Kevon Harris is NBA built ready? Like, he can at least go play defense, and like, our team can't shoot, so we have to get out and run. We are not getting out and run. Like, there's no running being done. We're running half-court sets. Franz Wagner is backing down from the other free throw line to get into an offensive set.
Yeah.
What are we don't even have offensive sets right now. You know what's funny too? I want to pause on the Kevon Harris right there for a second, Patrik. Going back to the weird rotations, he played pretty decent in the last game, and he doesn't get a single minute tonight.
Right.
Like, okay, again, weird, but yet we decide who didn't play at all last game. Caleb Houston, we give him 21 minutes, right?
He's the one off the bench.
I just don't understand.
I guess to me, I think it's kind of an either or with those guys because, they're both kind of bigger wings who have a little bit of shooting, a little bit of off-ball stuff, a little bit of on-ball things going on, but in different ways. But I think having the minutes would kind of go more to what you're saying before, which is not giving anyone extended runs. So you kind of need to pick one or the other, just like they did when they would pick Terrence Ross or Gary Harris at times last year. They'd be one game for one game for the other. Trying to have it down the middle, I think, is even worse, because I think you're onto something, is that I think you do want guys to have extended run and more designated roles. And that's one place where I think a guy like Steve Clifford does have some advantages over Jamal Mosley, in that Steve Clifford's rotations were set in stone once he set them. Like, guys were coming out at this time, guys were going in at this time. Like, maybe you could get a few minutes out of things if you were really hot, but most of the time he'd be like, hey, you're hot, get the F out. I don't give a damn. You're going in. And it was like, wait, that guy's hot. No, I don't care. The third point guard goes in there. And even to the point where you sometimes see guys that were fringe players at a position, and because Clifford was like, no, this is when my second point guard goes in. I don't care if my second point guard is Harley Quinn, actually animated Harley Quinn out there. I'm going to put him in because that's what I do. And what happened was players were able to depend on that. You were able to start understanding your role in that. The negative of it was that because things were so rigid, you couldn't adjust over time. You didn't have the ceilings. You didn't have the rainbows and great things in the future. But you had a set kind of a thing, and you could kind of get to that floor. So ideally, with Mosley, with what he's doing, is that you're gonna at some point have a ceiling where things are going better. But right now, you're definitely seeing the lower floor where you're having these times where you're like, oh my God, we've given up this amount of points in this lineup. No one has scored at all. We got to call timeout to somehow get a ball handler in. So it's kind of more peaks and valleys, but we're seeing a lot more valleys because we're having better teams. So it's just an interesting thing because I've been complicit in being too much of a defender of Coach Mosley. I've wanted to always find a reason for what he's doing. So I want to back off that a little bit, but also understand that some of it is preemptive because I do feel like, you know, a lot of scrutiny is coming on him, but some of it is warranted. So I don't want to seem like I'm just saying, oh, that the guy can do no wrong. So that's why I want to bring up Steve Clifford and some things that would have been done differently under him. Because you look at what he's doing with Charlotte Hornets, there's certain things that he's doing where it's already elevated the floor and they're able to have a certain level of play. Now, obviously, every game so far, the Magic have been underdogs. That's a fact. Even just looking at the basketball reference, like expected games won, the Magic would be 1-3 right now. They should have won the Detroit game, all things considered. But other than that, they should be 0-4 because they've been favored by 7.5, 9.5, 8.5 every game and all. So just the big picture thing, those are kind of things that I think about and all.
My thing, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
you got it, man.
You got it, Pat.
I was just gonna say, I will say about Mosley because I've in the GM, you guys know I'm like super harsh. I don't like the inconsistent rotations, and I don't believe he's staggering things correctly. Like obviously, I'm not an NBA coach, but I would like to see Mo Bamba more runs with the starters. I would like to see, you know, even if you're gonna play Caleb Houston, play him with guys that are like, you know,
good
above his level, so you can cover him. But I will say that these type of rotations will work a lot better when healthy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he gave Bol extended run tonight, which I thought was the incorrect thing to do because the game was on the line and we needed Cole in the game. So sacrificing Cole for Bol was crazy.
That was weird.
But he was going up to 20 points. I mean, it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when, dude, you don't sit a starter, one of your best, most consistent players so far to start the season for Bol, who is, I mean,
the only guy scoring at the moment.
Cole Anthony also can score. I mean, that's what he does. He's a scoring. That's Cole Anthony. He's a bucket, man. And yet you bring him in. What is Cole Anthony supposed to do with 2 minutes left in the game? Like, come on, coach. Come on. That's not how you do this thing.
It took too long to get him back in. There's no doubt.
I don't care how good your offensive player is
out there
for a second, but that's not like, I mean, I understand you give him a little bit of extended run, but not until there's 2 minutes left in the fourth. Like, that's just, sorry, coach. That was a bad move.
Too much.
But
go ahead, Pat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, he had played the whole fourth, so it's not like I know he's tired, and I was watching Franz and Paulo struggle to run the offense.
Yeah, it was an odd thing. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if there was some equipment malfunction or he asked for a blow or something. Because when he came out and when he came back, it was odd. It was definitely odd. I don't think that was expected.
Was when later on in the year, if Terrence hot, if you know, depending if Cole or Markel, I'm Markel, but if Cole's not starting and he's hot, those are good players you can stagger. You know, you can also, I mean, you can leave in towards the game and nobody's gonna bat an eye. You know, so I think these rotations are going to work later on. I just find it very uncomforting that he's doing it with the guys that are probably not playing.
It's almost like you need to do a Coach Clifford system where you give guys a set rotation and let that set rotation be a thing for a period of time. So guys, you know, we're early, we're young. Let guys get familiar with what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it on a consistent basis. Set them up next to players that are going to set everyone else up for success, even with the limited health that we have. Like you can, like Patrick said, you can stagger guys differently. And then cool, as guys start to figure shit out, let's then get a little bit more flexible and let guys have extended period of run. And cool, we've been doing this for 20 games. We can switch up start throwing other shit that's sticking at the wall a little bit as things are starting to get tighter. But right now, guys don't even know how to play defense in the system at the moment. Like,
and what's crazy is that just kind of looking forward, the Magic aren't going to be favored in a game until next Tuesday, the 1st.
Yeah.
They're going to
we
play
had a rough
Cleveland
schedule.
on
That's no
Wednesday
joke.
on the road. They'll be underdogs. They'll play actually the home against Charlotte. That might be a pick 'em. Just based on everything, health, if a guy is back, the Magic might be favored by 1 or 2.
If we lose that game,
yeah,
shambles. If we lose that game,
it's gonna be tough. I mean, they've got to find a way. And looking at the timing of things, Gary Harris should be back any minute from that meniscectomy. Marco Fultz, we'll see. I don't know when he's supposed to be back. Jalen Suggs, there's up in the air. But Gary Harris is the one guy that I keep eyeing because based on that 6 to 8 week timing from when he had the surgery, he should be out there soon. And if he's out there this week in one of those games, all of a sudden you're not having the minutes of a Caleb Houston. You're not having the minutes of a Kevon Harris. You're altering the minutes of an RJ Hampton. And it's a two-way guy. It's an impact guy who off the bench is a focal piece where you pass it out there for those shots. He's stopping a guy inside. He's doing the perimeter defense. Like I don't think we can underestimate how much having one actual NBA rotation player would add to this lineup. Whereas right now you have 5.5. And you need more than 5.5. And really some of it is less than that because sometimes the starters aren't doing great. But you have 5.5 rotation players right now, and you need more in the NBA. I'm sorry. You really do.
100%.
So anyway.
We need Fultz.
Yeah,
That's who we need.
Fultz the big one.
That's who we need. What?
Even
I can say that. Yeah. We need Fultz back. I mean, we might sacrifice a little bit of shooting. That's okay right now. We need someone to set up.
He generates shots. He's like Ben.
I know
Simmons
that's what I was getting
He doesn't
to.
shoot, but he generates threes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Is like he's the quarterback of this team. He's going to set everyone up. He's going to get everyone in the right spots. He's going to shift. Gary Harris or most likely Cole Anthony to the second unit. Cole Anthony can run that second unit. Get those guys into their spots. A little bit better.
Is back and Harris is back, and
it's
all of a sudden you're cooking with gas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here, Malik. Yeah, it's like you got to let we need a little bit of health back, but we're not doing our current core we're not doing our current availability any favors with the way coach is running things at the moment, unfortunately. But it hasn't been all that bad. I mean, I'm frustrated. You're all frustrated. We're 0-4. That sucks. I think there's been definitely a few disappointments there, but like I've been pretty excited about Paulo, and that's what I just keep going back to. Like, he's so exciting, man. Like, just literally watching him. I mean, dude, he got to the line 11 times tonight and made 9 of them. He's shooting the free throw, I think, at 80% or somewhere around there, which is like, dude, when was the last time we had a guy get 11 free throws in a game? And he's done it like 2 or 3 times already in 4 games, which is incredible. I think also maybe it was the Atlanta game or the Celtics game. One of those other teams got to the line like 11 times. It was almost, I think he shot 9 for 11 that game too. It's just like, bro, Patrik, he is him. Paulo is him, and goddamn, that's exciting. And like, bro, fuck the rest. Get Paulo, get friends, surround him with shooters and a fucking point guard that can run the goddamn offense, and get a bench that can fucking play some defense. And I don't care. Ship everyone else off. I don't care. Let's just do that. Let's do that. So,
well, I mean, here's the thing, Pat. When's the last time we had a scouting report guy that other teams pointed to, not only in the film room, but during the game? Like, you heard the anecdote with Jason Tatum in Boston. He's like, this guy's killing us. I'm covering him. I don't care what you guys say. I'm going to make sure this guy, like, on a Saturday night, Jason Tatum breaks the scouting report and says, I don't care. I have to stop this guy because he's killing us. Like, when have we had that in the last couple of years? I mean, somebody had to say, oh, am I going to stop Vucevic? I don't know. I mean, what does that say to you?
He's getting doubled off pick and rolls. He's catching in the post. There's like he's lost it a couple of times when he's in the post and come. he's not used to that. But like in the NBA, if you're him, you're gonna get those, and it's exciting. I don't know. The last time is like what, Dwight Howard?
Yeah,
Dwight?
he
Yeah.
got double, triple team, and
He couldn't.
game plans, and
Yeah. Oh, it's a treat. It's definitely. I'm just I just hope we don't lose the steam and the excitement we have as a team moving forward, because a lot of losses, like we sold out the Amway for the first time in a long time opening night.
Yep.
And there's a lot of casual fans in there, like there's a lot of people that like are there to see, are we good yet? And if we're not, we'll be back later, and I don't want to, I really like, this is a window to win the city back, I think. I mean, obviously there's more years ahead, but this is a good time to like,
it feels dangerous.
you know what I'm
It feels
saying? Like,
dangerous.
you don't even have to make the playoffs, but you want a good product on the court, and you want to like, people want to see wins. So
I
don't
think
know.
for the most part, like, I mean, we're down tonight for sure. Like you can hear it in our voice. You can hear it, how we're talking for the
We're
last,
scared. Yeah.
45 minutes. But for the most part, those last couple of games, I mean, they were fun. Tonight was the first game that was not fun for me as a fan, but the Pistons game was fun. The Hawks game, I only got to watch the first half. Then I had to do some family stuff the second half, and I didn't rewatch the first half because the next night we watched, the Celtics game. But that first half was fun. The Celtics game, dude, we were in it till the very end. That was fun. Our offense was flowing. Things were going really well. Tonight was it was challenging, man, because like, the Knicks, I think Malik, it was you, maybe someone else, but someone said the Knicks bench is better than their starters. And I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but their bench is really good. And it's not true in my opinion, but I mean, they're a good scrappy team, and their bench is young. They're trying to prove themselves. And they're a little bit they're like just enough experience to throw off a bunch of fringe NBA players off their guard. And
Well, I guess what I would say is that the bench is the one that kind of humiliates you, because you bring out Emmanuel quickly, who'll put your drawers on the ground. You got Derrick Rose, who'll do some ridiculousnose. Obi Toppin, who's taken off from the free throw line. Isaiah Hartenstein, who's not even speaking English to you, doing crazy stuff, and and then so those guys out there doing stuff is just really wild, because a lot of them are better defensively and more wild offensively. And Cam Reddish, the poster child for the chosen one, any given night can go off for 20 or go for -2 type of thing. So, it's just a wild bench that we would love to have, just to have guys like that who, again, if you give guys leash, you give guys rope, might expect to have something happen. Because like I said, I can acknowledge the maybe mishandling of the bench. I guess I'm not sure that giving more rope and more time to any of these guys would bring anything positive, because it's borne out in the watching. You give these guys, give Bamba 20 minutes. Oh my God, how would he kill us in 20 minutes?
It's not about, but see, it's not about giving him just
25 minutes. How much would he destroy our plus minus? It would be killer.
It's more than just that though, Malik, though. It's like you're giving him 20 minutes, but who are they next to? Like, is Mo Bamba getting half his minutes next to the starters? And then the other half with the secondary? Like that's part of the equation.
Wouldn't it be a millstone around the neck of anyone who's next to?
I don't know, because we haven't fucking seen it for anything, like coach won't try it. So we have no fucking clue.
Because they're drowning.
They're drowning right now. Like they're drowning right now, man. Like, so let's actually try something different instead of just keep throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. Like let's try to give some guys some consistency with the same rotation, with the same, it's not just about extending minutes. It's more about the rotations and how they're playing next to each other, and not like, Caleb in one night, Schofield in, or, Harrison the next night. Like, no, like let Caleb be the guy that is getting his 18 minutes a game in the same set for 5 games in a row. And then let's collect some long data and not just say, okay, you know what? Next game versus the Cavs, we're going to give Bamba 20 minutes and see what happens. No. Let's give Bamba 20 minutes for 5 games, 10 games,
Jesus.
Let's give Okiki 20 minutes a game. No, but I'm serious. That's what that's a Cliff system, and you just said that would probably work.
Well, I think it would give you more of a floor, but I also think, I mean,
the ceiling right now is nothing.
I'm more with Pat and extend the starters more. I don't think it's giving more rope and anchor to these bums on the bench. But
the starters
hey,
are playing 34 for Boncaro, 36 for Wagner, 34 for Wendell Carter Jr., 33 for Terrence Ross. Oh, cool. Good job coaching. Cole Anthony got 29. So yeah, he should probably get like up to 33, 34 minutes a game. Like the starters are playing plenty for the start of the year. You know,
it up even more. Yeah, I agree.
No, I'm not. I'm saying Cole, sure, but I mean like 33, 34 minutes, 35 minutes a game, like that's plenty. Let's just get some consistency.
What were you saying, Pat?
I'll comment on that. Like Cole getting 29 minutes with one active point guard is
needs much more.
Here?
The point, like I love Franz Wagner. Like I really do. Like I feel like I come off as like not a believer, but like point front, like he's not that. Like why do we have to turn him into that? I don't understand why we need to do that. That needs to come with time. First of all, he shouldn't have those duties over Paolo in the first place. That's number one. He should not be if you're going to run a forward point, like, well, why is he bringing the ball up? He brings the ball up with his back to the basket. Like he's not comfortable with his handle, which is absolutely fine. I'm not mad at him for it, but he is a half-court killer. Get him, like I think we talked about it last game, get him the ball off down screens. He's coming off him. He's attacking the rim. He's coming off him to shoot. He's coming off them to make a play. But one, we're making him. He's playing the most minutes. We're going to burn him out. He already played in Europe, and he already only missed 2 games last year, or 3, whatever it was.
Right.
Like he can't. 36 minutes for him is, 1, not sustainable, and 2, not, I don't think, good for his development whatsoever.
But wouldn't that be too much for Paolo to say, hey, listen, we want you to be a rookie. You already are, the leading scorer. We also want you to be the primary ball handler, even if you're the best at it right now.
Right.
I do understand the rationale of saying that's a lot to put on a guy right now. I know you're the best at doing it, but let's let it happen organically instead of saying, hey, listen, we're putting the ball in your hands and let's live and die with this. I understand the rationale of kind of easing back on that, even though there are some real reasons to do it. There really are,
Franz has had good moments at it, but like my rebuttal to that would, okay, so why do it to Franz if you want to do it to Paolo? I mean, there's a year
because there's a second year and there's Europe so there's all that experience of doing it. That's why I would say,
My thing is, Pat, can I just contribute to this for a second? Is Paolo is known for his passing in college. He's known for his playmaking ability. That's why he was the number 1 pick in the draft, along with his scoring. It wasn't just because he's this awesome scorer. It's because he's this awesome scorer and this awesome playmaker. And we're not utilizing that as much as we could be, where it's like Franz was not this awesome playmaker, but then we gave him the ball a bit and we're like, oh, you can run the pick and roll. Cool. And like, we kind of discovered that because he wasn't really that before, at least it wasn't used that way. And it's like, in a sense, this is almost year 1 for Franz running an offense too, just like it would be for Paolo running an offense. And it's like, I don't necessarily think it's adding more to Paolo. I think it's just, hey, you used to do this. Let's continue to have you try and do this at the next level. And it's you don't necessarily have to be the number 1 option. Or the number 1 offensive creator. That's what Cole is supposed to be, but he can't be that when he's playing 29 minutes a game. You say, hey, Cole, we're going to run you 36 minutes a game. And then Paolo and Franz are going to be the secondaries for you. But right now it doesn't always feel like that, particularly if you look at the minutes. And
Cole should be third behind those guys, though. He shouldn't be above either of them as a playmaker.
Right now he should be, in my opinion.
For those guys is much better. I don't agree with that at all. So
like a playmaker is not the guy that brings the ball up. Right. A playmaker is the guy who's gonna either orchestrate your offense or their offense is gonna be ran through them. Like I'm not comfortable with DeJounte Murray picking up Franz full court and Franz is holding his knees going into the 4th.
No doubt.
Yeah. Because he's got DeJounte bothering him all game. Cole, those are
That's
like
where I
little,
would give it to Paolo and have him bring it up. I agree. Yeah.
well, but like because you're not gonna put DeJounte on him, and like that should be a thing. Like, oh, Franz, you're on the court, only you bring it up now. Like that, I don't understand why that's a thing. Like, I mean, obviously Paolo's helped, Cole's helped. When they're on the court, whoever's closest to the ball usually seems to bring it up. So it seems to like have calmed down. But if we're battling Franz playing 36 minutes, why don't we just let RJ Hampton crash and burn first? He had a solid preseason. This goes back to giving people an extended run. There's nothing Caleb Houston has done that I'm like, he needs to play over RJ Hampton. There's nothing.
Well,
He just
in the preseason he did show some things, but I agree. Regular season wise, he hasn't only played those two games. Yeah.
And I think they've played them the same amount of minutes. He scored his first points tonight.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and we need guard help. Caleb Houston can't run guard. RJ, he's not the best point guard, obviously, far from it. But he's definitely like, it's just those little things for me personally that have really been picking at me.
RJ's the one for me that I could definitely see more minutes and more minutes at the point as a secondary and tertiary guy. That's the one that I question the most. I'm like, man, I think this guy could give us more, and you could give him more to do next to guys and with better players and see better payoffs. That's the one guy that I would give the caveat to. The other guys, I'm like, I'm Okiki isn't Houston, but RJ for sure is the one I'm like, I think you could get more out of him. So
especially if we're struggling defensively, he's 6'6". Like I know he's not Tony Allen, but he's gonna give he's gonna give a harder time to Jalen Brunson than anybody else. Jalen Brunson was doing step back fadeaways over Cole. He's a great player and he hits those type of shots. I get it, but like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of it. I know it'll get better with time because obviously he's definitely just trying things, thinking he can, like, he knows he can get away with it because everyone's hurt and he wants to see who can do what. But I just feel like there's multiple winnable games that his coaching might have derailed us from winning. And that's really my biggest issue with some, not every game, but Pistons game, I lost it.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Pistons one hurt. Yeah.
The Pistons game was the one for me. Everything else has just been like just talent. Like, we're playing Boston.
Pistons and tonight.
Losses.
Pistons and tonight got me bad with the coach. I thought he did fine against the Celtics for the most part. I mean, a couple of weird things rotation wise, but I don't think they necessarily killed us. But for me, it's like I still don't really understand what we're running. I mean, it's
hard to run stuff without a point guard. I mean, but Cole's okay, but he's So I think that's
for sure. But I mean, like, okay, if Cole, if I'm gonna say this, if the whole season and everything that we're doing is dependent on one player on this team named Markelle Fultz,
well, I'd say Suggs too, though.
Cole Suggs isn't really a point guard either, though.
More than Cole, though.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm ready to even say that yet. I also agree, and I also believe in Cole's playmaking a little bit better than I think maybe what you do, which is fine. Like him, but if we're waiting on this entire season for one guy to set us up for the most part, we're in trouble. We're in trouble because I like Fultz. He's a good player for sure. He's got an injury history. Hopefully after this toe, he stays healthy the rest of the season. But man, we need some point guard depth then, and Suggs, he's got a long ways to go before he's a point guard, in my opinion. He makes
but the bottom line is that it's two guys that can run point as two-way players that are completely out. I mean, like, whatever you think of Jalen Suggs.
I like
starting point guard for a national championship, runner up the last year. I mean, that's what you draft him for, to be a combo lead type of a guard. So to have him and Fultz out, that's big. It hurts. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, you can't underestimate that. That's all I'm saying,
Yeah, I'm not underestimating. I just don't think anyone's claiming like Suggs coming back is going to help us get into our offense in a better situation at all. Like, I think that the playmaking that Suggs is going to bring compared to Cole at this point is marginal.
He puts pressure on the rim. He's good attacking closeouts in ways that Cole Anthony is not. He's good. He's a great transition guard in a way Cole isn't. I mean, those are all important things.
But that's not necessarily like
I mean, it's
That's
important,
another. I'm
Okay.
not doubting that. I like Suggs a lot. I'm not. This isn't even me saying Suggs is bad. I'm just saying that's kind of like another cup for
I,
another day. I'm
I,
not going to go down
I got you,
this.
man.
I don't think it's like Cole or Suggs or Cole or Mark. You know, like I don't think you compare them. I think it's like another outlet is what I think I would agree with Malik with, because it's like, sure, Suggs might not be as good of a playmaker, or he's even better. Like that's whatever. That's up for debate. That's for whatever you think. But
Yeah,
that's another guy where
I agree with
we
that.
have, you know what I'm saying? Like now you can play Suggs next to Cole, or Cole next to Markel, or Suggs next to Markel, and there's 2, 3, 4 initiators on the court instead of now Franz is with the second unit by himself, or Paulo's with the second unit by himself,
There you go.
because Cole played 15 minutes in the first half and he needs a break. You know, now it's like, oh, Cole's off the court, I can still breathe okay because I have Jalen or Markel.
Yeah, no,
That's
I agree with that for sure. You know, where it's our degree of who's the better playmaker is kind of out the window. It's more about what they're adding when they're on the floor. Yeah, no, I get that for sure.
And we're just so short on minutes right now. Like I was saying, and just having Gary Harris alone, to have some real minutes from NBA player, Jalen and Fultz are that as well. I think we might end up seeing an embarrassment of riches all of a sudden. Those guys come back. It's like, wait, this guy didn't play at all, and he could have, and we just balled out. We just brought guards after guard. But right now, there's so many guys out. Like most teams would be crippled by having 3 or 4 guards out, and we're actually not embarrassing. Usually, we're usually, hey, we're a competent team. It's not like we're putting out, 2-way Xavier Simpson and guys up off the street like we were and stuff. So it's almost a testament to the depth that we're pulling this off as much as we are. But we're really pretenders beyond the starters. You know what I'm saying? And it's paper mache. It looks like something, but the minute you get past those starters, it's like, oh, you don't have anybody there. Kamon Harris is playing a lot of minutes, bro. Who?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I hear you for sure. I hear you.
But anyway,
well, guys,
we got some stuff off our chest and all. I'm looking forward to that Hornets game. We got to win that game Friday. That's a huge one.
Well, let's take a look real quick. Let's try and end this. Let's try and end this on a happy note. So, I'm pulling up the schedule right now.
Yeah, Cleveland Wednesday.
We got Cleveland on Wednesday. We got Charlotte on Friday. We got Dallas on Sunday. We got Oklahoma after that. So the next 4 games: Cleveland, Charlotte, Dallas, Oklahoma.
You could go.
We should be able to go 1-9, 1-8 there somewhere. Like we can win one of those.
2-2 is the hope there, obviously. Yeah.
Charlotte,
a new season.
Check on me.
Yeah.
Check on me if we don't beat those 2.
Wellness check.
Pat, Tuesday, November 1st at 11 o'clock your time. Are you down to come on the podcast and let's go off on a Tuesday versus Oklahoma?
Video edit.
All right.
I mean, I feel a game in one of those Cleveland, maybe even Wednesday. We got to get tired of losing, right? Like something's got to give.
I haven't checked it out yet. Apparently, Paulo showed some frustration in the post-game interview, which is good because they should be frustrated. Let's get a players only meeting going in here. Let's go. Just kidding. Too soon for any of that stuff. Jokes aside, I there's still a lot to look forward to with this team. We're frustrated right now for sure. But that's gonna get a lot better. This Magic team's gonna get some wins throughout the season. They're not gonna go 82-0 or 0-82. They might go.
Gonna have a homestand coming up soon.
Yeah, they have a good homestand come up. We knew this front of the schedule was gonna be really challenging. I mean, from November 3rd to November 16th, every game that happens during that time period is at home, which is really exciting. Then they hit the road for a little bit, but during that second period they got the Indiana Pacers.
I didn't think it'd be this tough though, man. So, this has been rough, bro.
It's I
was ready, but I wasn't ready like this, bro.
There was a few moments where I thought, we really could be like 1-8, 1-9 to start the season. And I don't want that to, but the opening and everyone always says, well, the schedule is what the schedule is. Everyone plays the team ahead of them. Yeah, but our opening schedule is tough and
it's brutal, man.
We're broken.
But I will say that goes to show the NBA is getting tougher. There's no easy games anymore.
No, yeah.
three teams, and even those are kind of toss-ups for us because I don't know who's available. So I'm hoping and we get at least two guys back. I think Markel should be by then, and Gary. I don't know. I don't even consider Jonathan Isaac on the team. So
yeah, right now, yeah.
Question for you guys: Do you think where we're at right now puts any more pressure on the front office to actually get guys back on the floor compared to where if we had one or two wins under our belt, they might let them sit a little longer until, because we know how the front office likes to take their sweet time getting guys back on the court for the most part. I'm wondering if, since we're 0-4, if hey, maybe we do push Gary Harris on the floor instead of letting him wait another 2 or 3 more games. I don't know.
I think the players themselves are going to be pushing themselves more to get back on the court, and that relationship will get them here hopefully sooner. Like hopefully. A guy might be like, "Oh, well, I'll take my time." I think these guys are probably pushing their butts trying to get out because they know
I'm not.
There's minutes and numbers to be had, bro.
I'm not trying to say the players aren't. I'm not trying to say players aren't. I'm trying to say like the front office and training staff might not let them even if the players are ready. No, that's
my thing is with office. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm done. That's
like cut it.
Yeah, we're waiting for you. Go ahead, man.
My worry is the front office is evil laughing right now. And they're like, this is exactly what we wanted.
Scoot Henderson coming up. Let's go.
No,
but there are no bad outcomes though. If we had won all 4 games, there'd be things to be laughing about. Losing all 4 games has different outcomes, but they're still good. There's no bad outcomes this year right now. There really aren't, except for guys truly staying hurt forever. Like if Jad never comes back, that sucks. If Fultz is just that really sucks. But the guys come back eventually. It's all gravy. So anyway,
it sets a poor precedent. Like I've always been like pro tank the last few years because we really haven't gotten that guy. But like we can't be greedy. Like I feel greedy wanting to continue to lose. Like you hit on Franz Wagner. Paulo seems like surefire top 20 player in the next 3 years. Easy. Like
our hands are clean. We're not tanking. We're just losing. We're not tanking.
Yeah, but you hear what Patrick's saying. He's saying like maybe the front office is like kind of and somewhat happy about this, and like that's not cool.
That's what it's. I don't want to say that they're happy people are hurt, but like if they stay, we're going to end up with a. And I don't want that. Like I'll do it if we play all 10 and we lose games, but if we're losing games because Markel is healing a toe for 6 months, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
to me,
I don't think we're doing that. I mean, Jalen Suggs came back super quick, and I see Markel. He's out there working. I just think on that 2 to 8 week timetable for a broken toe, that puts you between now and mid-November if they're being really careful because it looks like he really did break it. His foot really was effed up because I've had things with broken toes. Like full disclosure, I was at the time dating a woman. And I got out of my own car angry that she was getting out, and I kicked my 1986 Chevy Caprice.
Sick.
I lost. That's a full steel car, so I felt something give in my foot, and my foot wasn't the same for a long, long time. That was my big toe. That thing cracked. So I understand, and that was just a normal schmo playing basketball and whatever in life and stuff, and that thing bothered me for years from not getting it quite right. So it's a real injury. I mean, I'm not saying Markel kicked a Chevy, but a coffee table, like that doesn't give either with your big old feet. So I mean, I understand like being careful for that 2 to 8 weeks and actually being pain free and being right. That is important, but it does if he was hurt September 26th. 8 weeks from there is into November if we're being conservative, and he's still wearing a boot right now.
And we know he played on that broken toe too. We know he played on it, and that could have made it worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm starting with the day they announced it and not before. So 8 weeks from there is the middle of November. Yeah. So just conservative, and he comes back early. We're all loving it. Gary Harris is the guy. He should be back any minute.
It's just like ramp.
Yeah,
for sure.
Ramping it up.
It's ramp up. Because JR has been healthy, and they keep calling this whole ramp up process like I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Because every time he ramps up, his knee swells up like a balloon, and he can't play. I mean, that's been the bottom line. He can't ramp up and actually do it long enough to actually play. So We'll see, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Well, fellas, I feel like this is a good time to wrap it up. We've been going at it, venting, potentially the podcast title of the show. We're 4-0 and frustrated, or 0-4.
Hopefully giving stuff to the fans for their catharsis as well.
For sure. Yeah, it's a good venting session. I enjoyed it. But we're gonna wrap it up here. Listeners of the show, again, check out that Patreon. We need it. You want it. We want to give you more things. We got lots of giveaways to do, lots of community to build. So make sure you sign up. Every contribution that you guys do helps us. And we can't wait to continue to build that program. Merch if you need it. If not, hey, if you sign up for Patreon, you could win it. And that's all, folks. We'll see you next week. Go Magic. Peace.